Dark. Oh, there it goes. Okay. Wait a minute.
Hello. It's live. Hi, everyone. We're from the Daytona Beach Fire Department, and we wanted to do a quick live video to talk about Hurricane Irma. We hope that everyone is prepared for Hurricane Irma and in a safe place. And we're gonna just wait a few minutes until some people jump on here, and we're gonna talk a little bit more about the storm. Some things we're going to talk about is safety during and after the storm. We're going to mostly focus on information for the city of Daytona Beach, for our citizens and our residents. And we're going to give you some tips. So if anyone has any questions or comments that you would like answered during this live video, just comment below, and we will do our best to monitor all the comments and answer as many questions as possible. So we'll just wait a few minutes and see if we get some viewers. If you want to say hi to us, we can read some comments below. And we'll just talk a little bit about Hurricane Irma. Right now we have all of our firefighters for Daytona Beach Fire Department on duty and ready to work through the storm, especially afterwards for recovery efforts and damage assessment. Oh, there's a nice comment from your wife.
Thanks.
Okay, so let's get started. We'll go over a few things that we want you guys to keep in mind during the storm and after the storm, some things that are going to keep you and your family safe. So if you want to just start about
Some of the things obviously about keeping your generators out of your garage, make sure they're well ventilated outside. If you're going to cook things on your grill, you don't want to cook them inside your garage or in your home. You want to make sure you're in a well ventilated area. Going outside in water at all, period, before, during, or after the storm, not a good idea. Power lines can be down around the block. At the end of your street, you may not know of that happening, and stepping into a puddle would be very bad. So we want to stay out of puddles and stay inside, stay where you're supposed to be, and definitely don't run any grills or generators or anything of that such inside your garage while the storm's going on.
Yeah, just to touch more on that, generators give off a deadly gas, carbon monoxide, that is very dangerous to inhale. So it's very important that even if the generators are outside, you keep them away from windows and open doors. Make sure that they're in an area far enough away to where you won't have any effects from the toxins that the generators give off.
Let's also remember, when the power does go out, a lot of us have candles. We're lighting candles. We still want to take the same safety when we're lighting candles. Don't leave the room and leave that candle burning. We want to make sure that you do all the things with your refrigerator. If the power goes out, you want to leave that closed. If you have a side-by-side refrigerator and you have an ice machine, remember that ice is going to melt eventually and the water is going to go somewhere. So remember, you may want to dump that into a cooler so you have ice for later. Freezing water bottles now inside your freezer is a good idea. Anything, containers you have with water, that'll keep your freezer colder for a longer period of time too.
So already on the beach side, they have ordered mandatory evacuations. Hopefully everyone that is in a low-lying or flood-prone area or on the beach side has already evacuated. If you haven't, it's time to go ahead and get to the place that you're going to remain in during the storm and stay there. There is a curfew, a countywide curfew that is going to go into effect at 9 p.m. tonight and is expected to last until noon tomorrow, Monday. So, meaning authorities and officials want you to stay inside for your own safety. It can be very dangerous conditions outside with high winds and flooding and any sort of debris or material that has gone airborne. It just makes it very dangerous for anyone outside. So we want everyone to stay inside during the storm, and they will let you know when it is safe to come outside of your house, or if you have evacuated from the beach side, they will let you know when it is safe to return to the beach side. Bridges will be closed when winds are a sustained 39 miles per hour. So due to the height of the bridges, it is dangerous to drive your vehicles over the bridge when winds are 39 miles per hour or above. So they want you to either be on one side or the other. Hopefully you're on the mainland side where you are a little bit more protected, and stay in that spot until the curfew has lifted. Now, they say the curfew is expected to last until noon tomorrow. However, anything could change at any time. So if conditions are still lingering, or if it is determined that it's still dangerous for everyone to be outside, then the curfew may last a little bit longer. So we ask that the residents and visitors of Daytona Beach just kind of bear with everyone, because without knowing all the details of this storm, we're not really going to know exact times on when curfews are lifted or when you are able to return home.
I will tell you that we've staffed all of our fire stations. Even the beachside stations are staffed. Depending on the wind and whether we can get them back over the bridge safely, they'll remain at those stations until that happens. I'll also tell you that I know driving these guys to their stations this afternoon, the Shores has police officers on Peninsula and A1A. They're IDing people before you're able to enter into the Shores. If you don't live there, they're not going to let you go in there. The bridges, like I said, right now we're waiting for 39 miles an hour. I know that's when the evac units will no longer come over the bridge, so that's normally about when we stop our units going over also, if we don't have an ambulance to come with us. You're going to see a lot of police officers at these bridges once that happens, and under no circumstance are they going to let you come back over the bridge or to go back to your home if you live on the beach side and want to get back. So you're better off right now at this point just sheltering in place. Stay home, enjoy some football, and eat some of that food so it doesn't go bad when the power goes out.
We have a question right here. Do we have to wait for the storm to be over before starting the generator? If my power goes out before the storm is gone, can I start my generator?
You obviously, if you have power, don't need to use the generator, but if the power goes out, you can run your generator, but realize that it has to be outside. So if it's raining and you're running your generator outside and the rain's probably not going to be the best for it, I would wait until after the storm goes by. We're looking at a very short duration, probably from about 9 p.m. to 9 a.m. will be the most severe part of our storm on our side of the state. I would say that after 9 a.m. tomorrow, you'll be able to get up in the morning and get your generator started so that you can have your fresh pot of coffee like I would be doing at home. So that's what I would say, is wait till after the storm's already gone before you go ahead and run that generator.
Let's talk about the beaches really quick. I know that, especially being on the beach side, it is tempting to maybe go to the beach or to be outside and kind of see what the conditions are and check out the wave size and the storm surge. But beach officials are warning people to stay away from the beach due to the level of the tide being very high and the power of the swells and the waves. So please stay off the beaches, and even after the storm, wait until it has been determined that it is safe to go to the beach. Now, there's most likely going to be debris in the water following the storm. We saw after Hurricane Matthew, there was the walkovers and even some parts of the pier that had materials wash away into the ocean, and large pieces of wood were floating, as well as other debris that had flown into the water, and that causes huge danger for surfers and beachgoers and anyone just swimming. So you may not see a large piece of material coming at you. It may be thrown towards the shore from a wave. So it is dangerous, even after the storm has passed, to still be in the water. So just wait until they have made an announcement that says it's okay for you to be in the water. A question about rainfall in Daytona. I think they are expecting Rainfall amounts can reach as high as 10 to 15 inches with isolated higher totals of 20 inches possible. So again, this could change. We are expecting a lot of rain, but we don't have an exact number.
I noticed
right
on
now.
my way in today, coming down the intercoastal water level at low tide was very high. We're at that time of the moon that this is going to happen. So when we get a lot of this rain and it gets to high tide, and I believe high tide is at 3 p.m. or no, it's at 9 or 10 p.m. tonight. So it'll be obviously right as the storm's getting here that we're receiving a high tide. So let's remember we're going to have some storm surge with this, and we need to make sure that we're staying off the roads. I think the chief has said that at 9 p.m. is a curfew. I think that they wouldn't put this curfew in if they didn't think it's for you, the best for you. So let's stay off the roads. We have plenty of people out there for emergencies, but we definitely don't need to be going and getting cars that are driving into canals and that didn't need to be on the road. It takes away from our resources, and we're here to make sure that we're keeping everybody safe, but we need to make sure nobody takes any unnecessary risks.
So to touch on the bridges again really quick, those will, I don't believe they have closed yet. They will be closing when winds reach 39 miles per hour. Now, for beachside residents that are wanting to return home after the threat of the storm has passed, first of all, you have to wait until that countywide curfew is lifted, which won't be until noon tomorrow. After that, you'll have to wait until they reopen the bridges. Now, if you're a beachside resident, they are going to ask for you to show your driver's license to prove that you have a beachside address. Some areas may ask you to provide a utility bill or some further proof of residence on the beachside. Secondly, please bear with officials because depending on large trees or down power lines, they may not be able to let you back into your specific neighborhood on the beach side due to limited access. So again, we don't know exactly where the damage is going to be or how severe it is. So just keep all those things in mind when you're trying to return home. We know everyone wants to get home. Just be patient until they can determine whether or not the area that you live in is safe to return.
I will tell you that all the hospitals are going to remain. Halifax Emergency Room and Port Orange and Daytona are going to be open for 24 hours a day. They'll remain open if you should need to go to them. Obviously, during the curfew, it's for you to stay in place and not to be wandering around. But if you need to get to the hospital, you're more than welcome to get in your car and drive. I wouldn't recommend it, but if it's an emergency, obviously you need to get there, you go. You can call the dispatch or call the emergency number, and they'll give you guidance on what they think you should do.
And the hospitals have advised that they are not acting as shelters at this time. So please, only if you have a need to go to the emergency room should you head to a hospital. So we hope that everyone is keeping track of this storm, whether it's on their TV or internet or radio, and just keep checking regularly to get information about the storm and the track of Hurricane Irma. And a few things that you should do at your house: make sure your refrigerator is turned down, so if you do lose power, it will remain cold a little bit longer. Charge your cell phone now. Make sure it has a full charge for if you do lose power, that you will still have some battery left on your phone. A good tip is, if you lose power and you're unable to charge your phone, turn your phone to low power mode. A lot of phones have that ability to turn to low power mode. So turn your phone to low power mode. You can always maybe get a little bit of charge from your car if you need to make an emergency call. And we hope that everyone stays safe out there during the storm. We'll probably check in, maybe do another live video in a little while.
We want to thank all of our first responders that are out there. They know that this is their job, but realize that all these guys have come to work and had to leave their families at home. So they're all at their homes, with just like you are at your homes, while they're here working, and they're all right now very busy. So if you need anything, obviously they're there for you. But let's go ahead and say a prayer for everybody that's out there. And like I said, if you need anything, you can comment on this page, and we can get back to you anytime we can.
One more thing before we sign off, we're going to give you 2 important phone numbers for citizens to call in if you need to get a hold of somebody. So for the Daytona Beach Emergency Operations Center and Citizen Call-In line, that number is going to be 386-671-5555. It is fully activated and will remain activated until further notice. Now for the County Citizen Information Center, the phone number for that is 866-345-0345, and that as well is going to be operating 24/7 until further notice.
And we want to save the 911 operators, obviously, for extreme emergencies. That's why you're getting those numbers. Our dispatchers are overwhelmed in the centers. Save the 911 for an emergency. They do not want you to call them and tell them you've lost power. That's not anything that our dispatchers can handle. If you have a power line down, obviously stay in your home. Call FP&L, and there's proper channels you can report through there. If the power line is on something, obviously, that you need to report a hazard, please, you can call 911. But we want to save our 911 operators for emergencies. It's going to be very busy soon, so keeping that open for those reasons is a good idea.
Thank you everyone that signed on to watch this live video. Please share it so other people that maybe aren't watching right now can watch it later. And we hope everyone stays safe during Hurricane Matthew. Thank you.
Good job.